Hello guys and welcome back. So now in this video we will be adding the other action which will be climbing from this point to this rooftop. Okay, for that we already have this animation which is pressed hang to crouch, as you can see. Okay, so what we need to do with this animation now is, first of all, in our animator, let's get back to the base layer and get inside the parkour animations. Okay, and in here let's now drag and drop it right here. Okay, and let's name this as climb to top. Okay, and now if you notice this animation, in this animation the player only do this. Okay, the player just sits there. Okay, we need to make the player stand up when we climb to the top. Okay, so as you know that we already done something similar right here. Okay, from climbing up, then we play standing, and then we go back right there. Okay, as you can see right here, the player also just sits, and then we combine it with the standing animation, so it becomes a fully animation right here. So we will do the same with this one, climb to top. So what we're gonna do, we will make a transition from here to standing. Okay, and now if you play it, as you can see, it is looking good. Okay, now if we double click on it, okay, this is the animation. Make the root transform position y to feet. Okay, and let's change the offset of this so that it matches our other animations. Okay, so let's match it with this one, hanging idle. Okay, so if you notice, the hanging idle is a little bit down below, and this one is a little bit up there. Okay, as you can see, where is it? Okay, right here. Okay, so here is the hanging idle, and then this is this one. So what we need to do, we need to move this a little bit down below. So let me test out a value for this, and you can do it for your own as well, and then let's see how does it looks. Okay, so I have tested the values, and minus 0.22 is a good value for this pressed hang to crouch. Okay, as you can see, it is now matching with our hanging idle, as you can see. Okay, okay, so now once the value is matched, then as you know, we have already make a transition as well, and we name it as climb to top. So now let's add this animation as well. So as I told you in the previous video that we will be climbing up to the rooftop only for from this points. Okay, from these ones, because of course we can't climb to the top from this point. Okay, unless this window was open or anything like that. Okay, for now we just have these points, so from here we will just climb to the top right here. Okay, so as you know that on these points we have this climbing point script. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we will create a pool on this climbing point. Okay, and that pool will be, for example, by the name of mount point. Okay, and if it is true, then the player will know that yes, from this point I can climb to the top, or you can say mount to the top. Okay, something like that. So let's do it. Let's open up the script. It is actually already opened right here. So at the top we will say public bool. Let's name this as mount point. Let's make the M capital right here. Okay, mount point. Save the script. Get back right here, and now if you notice we have this mount point right here. Okay, so now to all of these points we need to make this true, because from all of these points the player can climb to the top. Okay, so let's select these nines and set it to true. Then we need to select all of these set it to true, and then the other side as well, like that. Okay, so once you do that, get back to your accelerator, and now on the climbing controller right here we create a enumerator from for the jump from wall. Now we need to create it for the other action. Okay, so we will say enumerator, let's name this as climb to top. Okay, and in here first of all we will set the player hanging to false, so we will say player script dot player hanging, let's set it to false. Then let's call the animation right here, so we will say yield run. Then we will say player script dot perform action, let's call our animation which is climb to top. Okay, make sure that you type your own animation name right here, whatever you name it, and then we will wait for 0.5 seconds. Okay, because this animation is a little bit long, so we don't want to give the control back to the player quickly. Okay, we want to wait for some time so that the player climb up perfectly fine. Okay, so we will say yield return new, wait for seconds, let's wait for 0.5 seconds. Then after this, what we will do now, we will say player script dot, we will do the same as we did for the jump from wall, so we will just gonna simply copy and paste that like this. Okay, so now it looks good. What we can do now is to scroll up. Okay, let me find the leaf. Okay, right here, leaf. And now after the if condition inside this else condition, okay, which is this one, right down below, we will add another if condition, and now we will say that if the current climb point, and then we will say dot mount point is true. Okay, and we will also say if the point direction dot y is equals to 1, which means that if the player is moving up, okay, then what we want to do, we want to call that enumerator type function which we created, climb to top. Okay, so let's call that right here. So we'll say start quarantine, climb to top. That's it. From here we will simply return. Okay, and let's move this ledge to ledge comment from there, cut it and paste it right here, because right here we perform the ledge to ledge jumping, or you can say the shimmy actions and all of that. Okay, and as you know that this is our climb to top code right here, and this is the leaf climb point code. Okay, so you can just comment that all thing. Okay, so it looks good and you guys can understand as well. Okay, and guys, right here instead of this point direction we need to type input direction dot y. Okay, I don't know why I type point direction. So now if you save the script, get back right here. Okay, now let's try testing the climb to top. Okay, so as you can see we can perform this one as well perfectly fine. Now let's test the other one. Okay, okay, so now if we press the W key and the jump key, as you can see, the player is climbing to the top. Don't worry, we didn't have colliders on the rooftop, so that's why the player fall down to the ground. Okay, so we need to add colliders right here. Okay, so this is the roof tile right here, and then okay, so this is the roof tile. Okay, so first of all, let's select these three and add mesh collider to them. Then let's select this one. Okay, expand it, add mesh collider to them as well. Then right here, add mesh collider as well. And if you want, you can add mesh collider to this thing as well. Okay, and to this one as well, mesh collider, that's it. Okay, so now let's test it again. Let's see how does it looks now. Okay, so now we are right here. We can perform shimmy actions as well. Now if we perform the climb to top, as you can see, it is performing the climb to top. But for now, if you notice, the player is walking on this area. Okay, and we actually don't want that. And as you can see, the player falls down. So this is because, let me show you again. This is because we didn't have a layer on that area. Okay, so we need to provide layer to this top roof as well. And also, if you notice, when we perform this, the player feet gets inside the rooftop. Okay, we actually don't want that as well. So first of all, let's add a layer to this. So if we actually select the surface, as you can see, the layer surface is added to this. Okay, so in order to fix the first issue, let's select this whole thing, add surface layer. Yes, change children, select that one, expand it, add surface layer, then select this one and add surface layer. That is it. Now that issue will be fixed. Now the next one is the player feet were getting a little bit inside. Okay, the player was getting stuck, so we need to fix that. So in order to fix this, let's get back to the player script, and then we're gonna fix it right here. But before the fixing it, let me tell you the reason why that is happening. That is because we are not target matching when we are performing that action. Okay, so in order to fix it, you can either use target matching, but the simple way to solve this is to enable the character controller when we are performing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say public void, and let's create a method by the name of enable character controller, and this will take a bool which will be by the name of enabled. Okay, and in here we will say what we name our character controller. Let me check it. Okay, CC. So we will say character controller dot enabled. This will be equals to enabled bool, this one. Okay, so now if we get back right here, okay, so right here when we play the animation, we will say player script dot enable character controller, and let's pass true to it. Okay, that's it. Save the script, get back right here, and let's go ahead and now play the game. Okay, let's move up right here. Okay, so as you can see, it is working perfectly fine. Now we can shimmy action as well. Let's play it again. Now as you can see, the player feet are not getting stuck inside. Okay, the player feet are looking perfectly fine. Okay, if I show you again, let me actually pause the video and climb the player up to this point again. Okay, so now if we perform it again, you can notice it. Let me make the screen full. Okay, as you can see now, the player feet are not getting stuck and it is looking perfectly fine. Okay, and as you can see, when we added the surface layer, now the player can walk on this area as well, and also the player is not getting inside the building. Okay, so both of the issues are now fixed. Now the next thing which we will be doing is jumping back to the climb point. Okay, for from right here, as you can see, the player cannot actually climb back to the climb point. Okay, or you can say jump down to the climb point. Okay, so in the next video we will do that, and with that then our course will be completed. Okay, the climbing controller will be completed. Okay, still we need to add some post processing work. Okay, but that will be in the upcoming videos.